Alright guys, we got a little bit different trip today. Got a trip out here. We're actually near Tampa. You can probably see it in the background here. We're gonna be out on the kayak looking for snapper. Summertime, and we're gonna get out in the water. See you there. Alright guys, just to show you the setup that we're going to be using today. Primarily we're going to be fishing for snapper. Summertime, Tampa Bay, it's primarily snapper. You do have a lot of snook around, you do have some reds and trout, but the water's warmed up and the snapper have moved up into the bay. If you can find them, you're going to find a lot of them. So I'm using a really simple setup. I've got a Ugly Stick GX2. I believe it's 7 foot medium heavy. Let me see. Yeah, 7 foot medium heavy rod. I've got 15-pound braid, and I think this is 25-pound leader to a small octopus hook. And all I'm going to be doing is cutting up these frozen thread fins that I have. I do these myself. I usually go to like the Skyway, catch a bunch, and then I vacuum seal them. And you know, you can take one pack, you can take however many packs you need, and it's just a really good, easy way to have bait. So we're gonna get out there and see what's biting. Guys, we're starting out with ladyfish and catfish. Not exactly a surprise, but not what we're after. So, let me get this guy unhooked and then I'll get another bait out. Alright guys, it's been a bit. Been wading through the catfish, but did get first keeper snapper here. This guy is probably about 11. But that'll do. That's a good, it's a good keeper. Like I said, all I'm using is small cut bait, small hook, and I'm looking for let's see here a little bit better. All I'm doing is I'm looking for pilings anywhere. And usually if you find one, you're going to find a lot. So, let's see if I can get this out. So the tip of my rod butt here is 10.5 inches. And yeah, that guy's 11.5, maybe 12. So let's get this guy bled. Get him in my cooler bucket. And we'll get back to it. Like I said, guys, I'm in a kayak, so I'm a little bit limited as to where I can go, what I can do. But the other thing in a kayak is you can get to places that other people can't get to. So, you know, if you're trying to get in between pilings or two pilings, I know that sometimes it's extremely difficult. But let's get another bait in the water. Alright guys, just caught a gigantic pinfish. Look at that thing. That's like an 8-inch pinfish right there. So we're actually gonna keep this guy for chunk bait as well whenever we're going out and doing other stuff, because we really don't need that guy eating all of our bait. So guys, let me show you what I'm using here as line. It's the Zebco 20-pound mono. You can get this at Walmart. I think it's like $3 for, it's 250 yards. Sometimes you do need fluoro, but overall, there's not going to be that much difference between mono and fluoro. Yes, if you're in a spot that's heavily pressured, you do want to use fluoro, but most spots, if you use as light of line as possible, mono is usually fine. Especially if the water's a little bit dirtier, the fish can't, really see the line that well, you're going to be able to get away with mono. Now, if the water is crystal clear and you've got a lot of people fishing around you, or you're in a spot where the fish get pressured a lot, then I would say yes, use fluoro. But it's kind of hard to see here because it's a little bit darker, but the water here is a little bit murky, and mono's okay. Plus, obviously, it's going to save you some money in the long run. But here, this is my main line to leader knot. I always tie the uni knot. It's the quickest, strongest, just really most efficient knot to tie, and doesn't really take that long. Once you practice it for a little bit, just like anything, you're gonna get it pretty quick. So what you have is, you have two knots that cinch down on the lines, and then they cinch together, like that. And as long as you do enough loops, enough wraps through the loop, you're going to be able to handle most fish. I rarely have break-offs because of the knot. Usually the failure is somewhere along the line, because I've got scrapes on the line, which that's why I'm changing this now, because I had a couple snapper wrap me around the pilings, and I'm getting tired of that. So I use about a 4-foot section of leader, and yeah, let's get back to the fishing. Alright guys, we're struggling through the catfish, but snapper are here. Well, this one is number 2. Let's see if I can get him without losing him overboard. They are quick. Oh, he is spitting up crabs. So here we go, guys. Number 2. It's another keeper. And yeah, guys, they are quick. Thing is, I'm free lining the chunk bait down, and you'll just see the line slowly going out, but then they grab it real quick. And the big ones are smart. They immediately wrap you around a piling, and that's the end of the game. These smaller ones just kind of swim away with it. But yeah, this guy does not want to open his mouth. At all. Alright guys, as soon as I get this guy unhooked, I'll get you another picture of him. So I'll show you guys with that one snapper coughed up. little bit hard to see, but it's a little mud crab. So I'm sure that guy was hanging on the pilings, or it's not just sheep's head that eat these, but definitely the snapper too. Alright guys, we got another great bycatch. Oyster toad. If anybody bottom fishes, you are familiar with these. And these are actually pretty good to eat when they're a lot bigger, because they are kind of a pain to fillet, but definitely not keeping this guy, so I'm gonna get him back. Alright guys, we ended up doing okay today. Goal was to catch some snapper. We did. We caught 2, plus caught a gigantic pinfish, which I'm actually going to cook and eat, which they're actually not that bad. People, you know, think, oh, it's a it's a bait fish, but the big ones, obviously I'm not targeting them to eat, but you can eat them. So only had 2 hours to get out here today, so, you know, not the best time frame. Typically, I'm going to be out for, you know, 4 to 12 hours out here. I mean, I love fishing. So, but let me show you the snapper that I did catch. Lost 2 other ones that, I mean, the big ones, they're just going to wrap you around the pilings real quick. So, here. So yeah, that guy, he's 11. And almost 12 on that one. And a 9.5-inch pinfish. So, and just to show you what I'm using, these are thread fin herring. Usually catch them around the docks and the bridges. Extras that I'll catch, I'll save and obviously vacuum seal them. I'm using 3/0 live bait saltwater hooks by Eagle Claw. I think these are like $2 at Walmart, and I typically will use a little bit smaller hooks in other places, but the 3/0, it's because you will get into snook and much larger snapper. I mean, I've seen snapper twice the size in there. They're just very hard to catch. And I mean, like the 2 that wrapped me around the piling, they were probably 14 to 16 inches, but they move so quick it's hard to get them. So 3/0 live bait saltwater live bait hook, and then the Zebco 20-pound mono. I think this is $2 maybe $3 at Walmart. And all I'm doing is connecting this to my main line, which is 15-pound braid, about a 4-foot section of the 20-pound mono, tied directly to the 3-aught live bait hook. No weight. I'm just tossing a chunk about the size of my thumb of really any cut bait. You could use threadfin, greenback, even pinfish, and I'm just throwing it out there, letting it slowly sink down. And before I throw that out, I'm cutting up, one of these guys and throwing it out as chum, so it'll get the fish active. Only problem with throwing out a bunch of chum is, I must have caught 20 catfish. They're just a nuisance, and you can't do much about it. You throw out chum, you're going to get catfish too, but the snapper are there. So, hey, 2 hours, had a nice little day. I'll come out here again, show you guys a little bit longer day, probably catch a limit, hopefully catch bigger fish too. But until the next episode, guys, take care. If you like what you see, I do weekly episodes, fishing, crabbing, other outdoor stuff. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.